I'm not a man hater, and if calling out the opposite gender for their bad behavior triggers you, you might want to look internally. Good day.
I think I actually really understand why men are not approaching women out. Beyond the fact that the dating apps have kind of ruined dating culturally. I also think the emphasis we've been putting on consent is scary. And that's, I mean, it should be. I think I would prefer that you are concerned and erring on the safe side. Obviously, this is an important conversation that had to happen. I understand, though, why men have gotten into their heads, especially men who care a lot about not making a woman feel uncomfortable, that they would just err on the side of caution and not approach a woman at all. Like, I understand that.
And you're not losing anything by that rejection. It's just, she's not into you. Just like that movie, he's just not into you. Accept it and move on. It's okay. At least you tried.
So Drives and Vibes commented this on my video. So before I got with my girlfriend, she told me she looked a guy up and down and said, "In what world?" It's not the rejection, but the fact that many women will insult a man for trying. That is very disrespectful. I think it's really rude. It's really mean. I think a lot of women say they want a certain type of man, but they're not being a certain type of woman. If you want a respectful man, I just don't understand why have this entitled attitude. That's not nice. I think it takes a lot of courage for a man to go up to a woman, to say hi, to approach her, and to look at someone in disgust or speak down on them. It's not acceptable, and I think society has really normalized that, but that's not how a woman should uphold herself.
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Here's where I think society has gone to extremes. There was a big shift in women thought it was creepy when men approached them in a bar. And I think a lot of men were like, okay, let's overcorrect this and just
not do it at all.
And then we would always ask women, okay, if this guy stopped you on the street and he was 6'5" and he was so handsome, what would you do? Oh my God, I'd go out for a drink with him. Okay, what if this guy stopped you on the street and he was just like a normal guy? She'd be like, no, I think that's weird. But how does the guy know if you think he's attractive enough or not to approach you?
Yeah.
And what does that do to the guy's psyche?
Yeah.
But I also do agree in the sense of men are not as confident as they used to be.
Yeah.
But that wasn't always a good strategy because they would be too confident and too cocky. And the world's gotten so sensitive.
There's so many cooks in the kitchen. There's so many people's opinions out there of like what's right, what's wrong.
Right.
And we're all individuals. We all like certain things. You are very modern, but also you have like these little traditional things to do with you. And I'm kind of very similar. We as a society can't just keep putting people into boxes or putting actions or putting categories into this is the only way that it goes.
People should just be respectful and tasteful. Like
going up to a girl in a bar isn't creepy. No. If you're creepy, it's creepy.
If you're creepy about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a way to do it and take a hint, obviously. Yeah. But I can't believe I'm going to say this. I kind of empathize with guys right now a little bit. Some of my guy friends are really struggling with that.
One thing that I see attractive men do all the time, and they fumble. Men do not really know how to talk to women. Women do not want to hear, oh yeah, love bombing. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear about what the last women, what they did and how they messed up. Nobody wants to hear about how women are trifling, women are this, women are users. Nobody wants to hear you. Like, damn, y'all fumble women solely based off the fact that you do not know how to show a woman that you are interested without coming across as a little weird. Discernment is important. I will dead stop talking to a man if I just feel like he does one of these things, because it's like, Nice guys who are not that cute have a better chance if they know how to talk to women.
Hey ladies. When a male approaches, he's not asking what your dowry is. He's not proposing. You can be nice. It's okay.
I was just at Whole Foods and I was picking out tomatoes. And a guy came up to me and was like, what kind of tomatoes do you usually go for? I hate how my brain like immediately thinks they're hitting on you, you know? And he didn't ask me out, which was fantastic. But I feel like I've tried so long to give men the benefit of the doubt like that and just think that we could be having like a human to human conversation, and then they always ask me out. So it's like I hate that that's now what I assume is going to happen. So I automatically am like, ooh, like a little scared. But then like that guy was super cool. And it takes me like 2 seconds to realize like, okay, I don't think he's going to ask me out. But I can only imagine what my face looks like when he first comes up to me. Oh, okay.
I was literally at a restaurant, yeah, and I could clearly tell that this guy that was sitting right there, he clearly fancied me, yeah, because he kept like, I don't know, do you know when you can tell, innit? Bro, like, if you like, just talk to me, like, talk to me then. Look, like, why do men never approach me? Bro, like, god damn.
So you're scared to talk to girls, huh? Here are some ways that you can get a girl to notice you without saying a literal dang word. Because in case you didn't know, that's possible. And yes, while I know I've said just go up to us and talk to us, I know it's hard. Yes, it's hard. But you're actually in luck because girls do love a shy guy. Just putting that out there. All I'm trying to do here is just give you some advice and give you a little insider information of what girls actually think about and what girls actually like. So I hope you find this helpful. And number 1 is cologne. I love me a guy that smells good. I'm just saying, if we've been talking online and I've never seen you in person before and we go on a date and the first thing I do is get in your car and you smell like $1 million. For example, I just went on a date last night with a guy from Circa, and the second I stepped foot in his car, I wanted to eat him for a snack. So yes, smell matters. It can take you all the way from down here to all the way up there. And number 2, don't be afraid to be seen. Whether that be at a party or a restaurant or any other type of get-together, don't be the one that like stands on like the outskirts everywhere, like in a corner, like huddled up hiding. You want to be in like the middle of everything, the middle of the restaurant, the middle of the bar, the middle of the get-together. I'm just saying, girls are not going to come talk to you if you're like hiding in a corner or behind your friends or something. Without being cocky, you want to be the center of attention and confident. And number 3 is eye contact. Play eye tag with the girl that you see across the room who you think is pretty. Look at her straight in the eyeballs, smile, and then just turn away. You just told her without saying a word that you're interested in her. And number 4 is hair. And I'm not talking about some massive over-the-top hairstyle. I'm talking about clean-cut, nice washed hair. Actually put some work into it. It matters more than you think. If I see a guy with nice hair, I want to run my fingers through it.
Thing that a lot of women really suck at is having empathy and understanding the male experience. This is why a lot of women don't understand why guys aren't approaching women anymore and all this type of thing. Men are born with no value on a societal level. Of course, God gives them value, but on a societal level, they have to earn their value by how capable they are and what they can provide. Women are born with value, especially attractive women. They can find a man who will take care of them and love them and provide everything to them, right? It might not be the perfect man, might not be one they want, but they can find it. Men can't do that. This is why 60 to 70% of homeless people are men. And the world today really is catered towards taking care of women. That's what a patriarchy really is. It's creating a society where women can maintain their femininity by not having to do anything and being protected and provided for. That's the key. But of course, there's always going to be bad, evil people to take advantage of things like this. But this is why, for example, women can commit the same crimes as men and get off with way less severe charges because we tend to have more empathy for women than we do for men. The thing that a lot of women just don't understand about today's society is that men are constantly ridiculed. There's an entire couple-month thing going on where women were literally talking about how they would rather be confronted by a bear than by a man, even though statistically that makes absolutely zero sense. And men are just being bashed online non-stop. They're being told they're useless all the time. Women are saying they don't want approached. Women are just making fun of men left and right non-stop. So would you approach a woman if that was what you were seeing every second of the day? Probably not.
I love when a man is nervous around me. Like, I love how y'all be acting when I be talking to y'all and y'all be nervous. It be warming something right here, like right in my chest. Like, damn, This don't know what to say. He don't know what to do. But I just love it so much, you know? But I also love when y'all be being y'all selves. Like, I don't want no man coming around me acting how he don't act. I feel like act how you really act. Turn up how you really turn up. Sing them songs loud as hell like you be singing them songs. You feel me? Like, just be your authentic self. But be a little nervous at the same time. Because I feel like when you nervous, you really like me. And you going to be on point with your shit. And you ain't going to get the tweaking too fast. You gonna tread lightly. You feel me? You going to plan every move accordingly. Because you like, damn, I don't want to make the wrong move. So I love that nervous shit. Like, come on, baby. Yeah, be nervous around me. Show me what I do to you.
A lot of men ask me how to get over the fear and anxiety of approaching a woman. But what if I told you she is just as nervous as you are? Women and men both doubt themselves. We feel awkward about what slips out of our mouths on accident, and we're like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And especially for you men, you worry about coming off as creepy than being shut down. These are all valid feelings, but at the same time, they're limiting beliefs and they are stopping you from becoming who you're supposed to be, and you need to cancel them. Fear is just an illusion. It's only what you make it to be. The best way to overcome it is just by building your social skills. Start simply. Just start smiling and waving at people and just saying hi when you're passing by them throughout your day. You'll be amazed on how many people react to that in a positive way. Ask yourself, what do I have to lose? I already don't have this person in my life. So how can I ruin something that isn't even mine yet? Confidence comes from patience and self-belief. Speak love and life into yourself daily. I cannot stress this enough. Before you leave the house every day, tell yourself, I'm an amazing person. Who wouldn't want to talk to me? What I have to say is actually very valuable. It's all about practicing so you can build your confidence and you can grow. Then when you feel ready, that's when you start asking for numbers and dates. Just don't get attached to the outcome. Look at it as you are building your social skills, not auditioning for the love of your life.
Let me show you why men are afraid to talk to women nowadays. For context, he's about to give them the perfect pickup line according to him to pick up any women.
You want to try it? Let's try it. Nah, come on, dude.
Bro.
Say it to me like you're saying it to a girl.
I can't, bro. I can't.
Come on, bro.
I'll probably see you again.
Any girl, I promise you it's working.
Bro, this guy's down bad for every girl.
Come on, bro. Lock in, bro.
I gotta do laundry. That's the issue, bro.
I'm trying to tell these guys that I have the most undefeated pickup line of all time for them, but they won't use it.
What is it?
All right, so you go up to a girl, doesn't matter where you are.
You lost me. Go up to a girl.
Fellas, at what point in your life are you gonna drop your nuts and do what you're most afraid of? Go talk to the women that you're attracted to. Any skill that you start, you're gonna feel nervous at first. You're gonna feel anxious because you don't have the experience to back it up. So get out there in the field. You might mess up at first, but learn from your mistakes, and eventually you'll get the results that you want. But you can't be living in fear your whole life and let that stop you.
Question for the men. Why is it that men nowadays don't approach women in public anymore? I feel like back in the day, it was so common for men to walk up to women, have a little conversation, maybe ask them out on a date. But nowadays, that does not seem to be a thing anymore. Why?
Yeah, I love when I make deliveries at hotels or at buildings and there's like a security guard right there. And it's, of course, the opposite sex. And he looks at me like a deer in the headlights. He's like he ain't never seen nothing like this before. It is so funny. It's so funny. But my question is, why don't you say anything? Why don't you ask me out on a date or something? Why are you staring at me like you just seen a star, a famous person? I don't understand that. Like, shoot your shot, sir. Shoot your shot, sir. Don't be afraid. You could do it. You could do it. You might get it, you might not. But that's life. Don't be afraid.
Pretty much every single very personal question that I get about my life or me can be answered with one single phrase. And, you know, I'm not authorized to answer all these questions. I don't have to because it's my personal life. But 99% of these questions, okay, here's your answer. My husband makes the decision. Take it up with my husband. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you live this way? Ask him. I don't make the decisions, baby. And honestly, it's so freeing. That's so controlling. Girl, I can't even decide what I want for dinner. I don't really want to be making huge household decisions. And you know what? Every single time that there's been something that I think I know better on, and I've tried to control the decision and my husband has said no, I look back months later and I'm like, I'm so glad that you didn't let me make that decision, because I would have really screwed us over. So yeah, take it up with him, not me.
And what she's essentially saying is, you know, men are not right about everything, but he had a point, right? Oh, I can see why I would want to do this, or I can see why I would want to go X, Y, Z, but what he's saying makes sense. I can see how he was trying to protect me, how he was trying to guide me, how he had what I wanted plus what the family needed and I needed at the forefront.
I'm afraid to approach women because I'm not 6 foot plus. I don't know if this is like real or sarcasm. Most men aren't. Most men aren't 6 foot plus. So what do you think? Like we're all just screwed? It's not how that works. You can look around and find supporting evidence for anything. If you were on here like listening to women's videos, I don't know why you would do that. Like, have you ever dated women before? You're not supposed to listen to them. So no, that's terrible dating advice. I'm kidding. But the point is that they just say. Only some of you are on here taking notes on, okay, well, I have to have an 11-inch dong, play for the Knicks, I have to make up $1 billion a second, and I have to wake her up every morning by throwing $100 bills in her face, and I have to be like 6'11". Yeah, women just say shit. You're supposed to ignore it. Like, that's crazy. Like, if you look around, you will see plenty of men that are like 5'7", 5'8", sleeping next to very beautiful women or pulling very beautiful women, or in the company of them. And that's, you can look either direction. I'm 5'3". 5'3", bro. Okay? That's a lie. I'm 5'10". But there's been times where I was like, damn, I can't believe I pulled her. I'm just happy to be there, you know? And I just stare at her all creepy like while she's asleep. And then she's like, oh, just staring at me, Jagger? And I'm like, sorry. I guess I should delete the 37 pictures I took of you. No. See, I was doing so good until I ruined this video. You can think what you want. The truth is you were never going to approach them anyways. So now you got to be like, well, I would approach them, but women only want 6 foot tall guys. Some, yeah. I've had one woman tell me that. Like, you're not tall enough. And I was like, lady, I have a huge penis. Like, so, so let me see. No, it's just, stop it. Stop it. Okay? Stop it.
Hey, y'all. So yesterday I was TikToking, and this guy finally asked the question that I have been wanting a man to ask for a very, very long time, especially after last week. He said, he had just got on TikTok and he was saying that he didn't want to speak for a woman. You know, he was saying like he was dating and he was interested, and he keep hearing people say that they're afraid to approach women or initiate a conversation or all different kind of things he was saying. And then he asked the question. He said, women, what would you like? What do you feel is okay when being approached by a man? That was the $1 million question. The $1 million question was finally asked. So, if what I say, this is what I say: acts of service, compliments, and laughter. Those are my top 3. And in those top 3, I almost can guarantee you some kind of good energy exchange. Because if a man came up to me and be like, your car been dirty all week. Let's just say you work with this woman. Your car been dirty all week. When you get off work, whatever day of the week that you don't have nothing to do, follow me up here to the car wash. I'm finna get that car wash because, man, you need your car wash. Nothing. Don't ask for a phone number. Don't ask for anything. Just offer something. If you like her, if you've been watching her, if you feel interested in her, instead of asking her for her number, acts of service. We do not get acts of service from a man. And we used to get them all the time back in the day. Compliments. Sometimes the compliments is only come because something is wanted or needed. It don't say nothing. If you ain't got nothing to compliment, don't say nothing. And don't ask her for her phone number. And don't slide in her DM. Laughter. People send me memes all the time, and that's all we have is a relationship of laughter. They send me stuff, I laugh. They send me songs, send me down memory lane. These are so many things that y'all can do to introduce yourself to a female that is welcoming. So even though those were just a few, those are just some. Just think about what I said, process what I said, go off of what I said, and not just everybody. Y'all can't keep doing this to everybody. Find somebody that you really like, or that you think you like.
So women. So like you said, you expect these certain things, right? Let's say I do that, and then on the second date, I need to expect something. What can a guy expect?
You're getting my time because obviously you're interested.
We gotta stop saying that.
Hold on, but it's the truth.
So if you're basically saying that you are so much more valuable than me as a person that I have to accommodate your time and your energy. I think if we're getting to know each other, I think I would hope that you go out with a person that's just as interesting as you are.
Yeah, that's why I'm going out on the second date.
So it's not your time, it's our time. Like I'm there on a date with you.
Yes, of course, your time, the man's time is just as valuable, but I feel like if you're expecting a home and children out of me, I want you to put more value and show me you're a man by pursuing and courting and showing me that character, that part of you. Yeah,
and what I'm hearing, again, I could be wrong, but what I'm hearing is showing you is about spending the money. That's it. It's not, character has nothing to do with money. Absolutely nothing.
Of course not.
So you can see somebody's character by being in a park with them, by whatever. Like that doesn't show anything.
Yeah, character and then your approach towards me. Okay. So for an example, I've been approached by wealthy men. I don't check men's pockets, but I could tell, if a man is financially stable or not, So I've been approached by those men, and just because they start showboating and are trying to pick me up by showboating, right away I'm turned off. I don't want to go on a date with you. Like, I don't care you have money or like you have this, these are your accolades. It's really about how respectfully you communicate. If you're just that man, then okay. Okay, you are pursuing me, you want to ask me out on a date, I'll go on a date with you. But I'm not going to just go on a date because I make 6 figures, I make 7 figures, just because you are financially stable. Like, do you understand? Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly.
So I've heard a lot of girls say that being like married is kind of like, it's like slavery. It's kind of like modern day slavery for the women and their philosophy is that why would I want to be like some dude's wife and I got to go to work and then I got to come home and be his slave and cook and clean and sleep with him after I was at work all day? Why would I want to be subject to that? Now, to just the plain dude, they're like, what? That's what a wife does. That's what a wife does. However, I can somewhat agree with the girls on that point. I'm going to tell you why. Because if a girl, first of all, we all slaves to the American financial system. So if you work and your girl works and y'all both gonna go out and be slaves, she don't want to then come home and be your slave, which that kind of makes sense. That is assuming that the girl is coming home and doing 100% of the housework, the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, and you come home from work and do nothing. In that case, the girls would be 100%. That is an unfair deal, because why would they want to go to work all day and then do the chores of 2 people? That would not make any sense for them to do that. I agree. I will agree with that. The only way it would make sense for the girls to come home and do 100% of the work is if they didn't have to leave the house. If they did 100% of the work and the men did 100% of the work outside the house, that's fair. But you can't expect the girls to do 100% of the work outside of the house and you do 100%, but then you come home and do 0 and she's still doing 100. That ain't fair. I will agree. I hate to agree with the girls, but that's fair. Now, in my personal childhood, that never happened. So I didn't even know that people was even doing this. This is new to me. TikTok has made me realize it's a lot of unbalanced relationships going on out here, because I didn't know this was a thing. In my own childhood, both of my parents cooked. Both of my parents cleaned. They took places taking me to soccer and basketball and baseball and all that good. So it was the workload of the house was evenly spread amongst both the parents. It wasn't just one doing it and then one was chilling. So is this not I thought in my mind, because that's how I live, I assumed everybody lived like that. But apparently not. So in that case, if people is living like what the girls online is saying, that the dudes is coming home and not doing, and the girls are doing 100%, but they both working. Yeah, I agree. That ain't fair. But then, what do I know? I'm just a nigga on the street.
But there's a lot of men that understand that, though. Women are out here acting like they're doing everything. They're adding stuff to, basically they're saying stuff that needs to be done that actually doesn't need to be done. They're not regulating and controlling their emotions. They're making everybody else in the house miserable because they think that everything they need and they want to get done needs to get done. It's an absolute necessity if they want to do it. But if the man wants to do something that doesn't need to be done, that doesn't happen very often, it's not important, right? So yes, I think most men can agree with you that men need to be helping around the house. They need to be obviously pulling their weight, but a lot of men are pulling their weight. It's just that women don't see, and we've already talked about this. Women don't see and they don't care about anything outside of themselves. A lot of these women, not all women, but a lot of these modern women out here that subscribe to today's thinking, they think they're doing everything. They feel like, I'm getting no help, I'm getting no support, and then they go down listing all of the things that they're doing. They never even ask the man what he's got going on, what he's doing. So you think you're doing everything, but you don't exactly or necessarily know what your man is doing.
Why does the average man think that he could fully beat a professional female fighter?
Well, that's because 99.9% of the time, they absolutely can. And I know hearing that is going to upset some out there, but those are probably the same ones that are getting upset that like to avoid things like factual information and basic biology. It's either that or they've been watching way too many action films and actually believe it when the 120-pound female heroine actually manages to defeat the 220-pound male villain using nothing but skill alone. It's either that or they have no concept of reality.
I'm tired of the anti-male rhetoric. I'm just tired of hearing about it. Bad men exist, but ladies, some of y'all kind of suck too, okay? I have a son and I have a husband, and both of them are amazing men.
I swear to God, women say they gay for everything. What you mean I'm gay because I'm 37 single with no kids? What you mean I'm gay because I don't know how to change the title? I'm gay because I wear chapstick? I'm gay because I smiled at my homeboy? So I'm gay because I had a lunch meeting with my homeboy? So you mean to tell me I'm gay because I haven't tried to sleep with you yet? You stink, ho.
If you're trying to glean something positive from the epidemic of women and their relationship to social media, how it is actually destroying the modern woman, social media or social media, that is one unintended consequence that you can look at as a positive or say on the bright side is that men have been saying for years that women are ridiculous and say and do or expect some of the most off the wall, weird, abnormal things in the world because sometimes they're emotional and they speak out of their emotion and say just ridiculous stuff. One of the unintended consequences that other women who aren't as far gone can now see, wait a minute, these women are saying some really crazy stuff. So it's now when we speak about these sort of interactions we have with women, some women, not all, now believe us. They're like, okay, I believe you because I see it for myself on social media every day.
I got asked to go on a date the other day. He wanted to get coffee and then go on a walk. Mind you, the only pictures I have of me outside on my Instagram are me at a beach outside the country. Stop asking me stupid questions. Asking me stupid shit.
To all the men out there, do me a favor and stay far, far away from all women like this. They are not looking for a future with you. They are looking for a distraction to get their mind off of their unresolved trauma. Even listening to her video made me feel terrible. I couldn't even imagine dating a person who is unstable like this. It is the fastest way to ruin your dating life and your mental health. You should be aiming for going out with someone who wants to have a connection with you, who wants to go on a simple date and get to know you and quite possibly have a future. So if you ever find yourself in a predicament where a girl is making fun of you for wanting to get coffee and go on on a walk, do not take it to heart. The right woman will want to do something simple like that. It's just mentally unstable girls that have to fill the void in their heart with drinking, clubs, and hooking up with random strangers, so don't take it personal.
I'm waving a symbolic white flag, okay, ladies? I know I've been hard on you for the past couple days, and I want to have a serious conversation. The reason why I am so passionate about this topic of women seeing men as human and not just the butt of some joke on social media is because I used to be like y'all. I used to laugh at all the jokes and repost the videos. I followed Drew and haha, men suck. Yeah. And then I was in a relationship with a man who, for all intents and purposes, was very good to me. And I didn't respect him. And I ended up cheating on him. And I felt terrible for that. And I didn't want to hide behind my emotions or how he made me feel or whatever. I had to put that on myself. I had to take accountability for that. I had to go to therapy for that. I had to realize that I was wrong, and the way that I saw myself in relationships and the way I saw men was not right. So I started talking and really listening to the men in my life, asking them questions, trying to see how they see things, understanding their perspective, watching male content creators, trying to hear them out. And what they said made a lot of sense. And I realized that these women were not being respectful towards men in the same way that they wanted respect from men. And I didn't like that. This all happened with my brain fully developing, so maybe some of the girlies just aren't there yet. But here's hoping that one day you learn to realize, if you haven't already, that men are people too. Just like women can be bad, men can be bad. Just like women can be good, men can be good. And here's hoping we all get to that realization eventually.
That's it. You're not being respectful, man. And nobody's saying that men aren't wrong. Nobody's saying that men aren't screwing up big time. But when a man has to shoulder the entire load, that doesn't seem fair. Even if a man says, okay, well, all right, maybe I'll take 50. No, you the man, you got to take 60. Okay, I'll take 60. If you're a real man, you'll take 70. Okay, I want to be a real man, so I'll take 70. But if you're a real alpha, you'll take 80. I have questions, but I'll take 80. And y'all work it up to 90, 95, 99%. And even that last 1%, you don't want to take accountability. You won't apologize. You won't communicate effectively. You won't do anything. And you wonder why you frustrate men.
I need to know what goes on in men's brains because we needed soy sauce and my husband was like, oh, let me order some. What is this? We are two people. This is a gallon of soy sauce.
I'm going to tell you a little secret about men if you want the man in your life to help you out. When that man helps you out, do not complain about it because here he is. You needed soy sauce and he got the soy sauce. It is a huge mistake to complain about how he got it and what exactly he got. As long as it was soy sauce, it is what you asked for. He solved the problem. But look, for the sake of argument, let's dive into it for a second. These are 3 reasons why he ended up getting that soy sauce. Number 1, when you're ordering groceries online or you're on Amazon, you may not realize how much product it really is because it's just a little tiny picture of it. 2, it's a cost savings. It's less money per ounce. You should appreciate your thrifty man. And 3, he doesn't have the opportunity cost next time of having to buy more soy sauce. Like you guys are set, and that soy sauce, it does not expire. That stuff stays good forever. There are so many women out there that would actually appreciate this effort. They're even entering the comments, which is hilarious because they're asking if this woman wants to divorce her husband, that they will take him.
In most cases, there are exceptions to the rule. Most women will never do better than the father of their children. What? Yes, because if you picked poorly before, masculine men are looking at your track record. You know how they say stock? We all have stock, right? Certain men lower your stock. Certain women lower your stock. So if you choose a man that lowers your stock, and what I mean by that is he doesn't respect you, he doesn't uplift you, he doesn't love on you, he's not showing you the love that any man should have for a woman that they value. Well, now this is the bar. So now men at this bar are like, yeah, I could have her too. And most of these men might be like, why would I choose that when I want to be with somebody whose bar is also up here? So most women, there are exceptions to the rule. Most women like Lisa, not you, can only do as good as their baby daddy. Now, the exception to the rule is, how beautiful are you? The exception to the rule is, how feminine are you? The exception to the rule is, what is your essence giving? Because if you are a baby mama that got baby mama by, what is Aaron calling Pookie and Ray Ray and them down the street? If that's who gave you a child, but that was a mistake that you made 15 years ago, and you've learned and you've grown and you're inside of your feminine essence and you're doing the things to take care of yourself, then you probably can attract a higher value man than if you decided to stay there. So I just want to be clear. This podcast, I'm praying, is for young women that don't get a chance to hear, don't make the choice. Don't do it. Don't let these men get you pregnant. If you're going to lay down with a man, don't sleep with your people frivolously. Be a miser with your body, potential husbands only. That's what I'm going to say. But, y'all are grown, do you.
Are men easy to please?
There's please and there's pleasure. And when men talk about pleasing women, they're talking about causing pleasure. Thank goodness. That's how you mean it. For women, which I assert is from being the smaller and weaker gender, by virtue of the hormones that kick in at 21 days of gestation, if you're destined to have ovaries, or sometimes I call them undescended testicles, we're just always going to be that way. The physical strength is a function of testosterone. And if you think of millennia of survival, mostly depended on physical strength. Earth is a physical paradigm. There's physical dangers.
This situation with Tyleel and Jordan is exactly why you cannot believe every woman. In my opinion, not fact, I wasn't there, I fully believe that she thought that she was going to be able to give him some of that cooch, and then he was going to break bread. He was going to turn her into a girlfriend. Y'all women have to stop believing that just because you allow a man to have access to your body, then you will have access to a relationship or the benefit of him. Y'all are giving them what they want up front and not making them work for it. And then you're being mad that you're not being paid on the back end. Y'all may not agree with him recording her while they were intimate, but I'm glad that he did, because that is probably the only thing that is going to stop him or save him from having a grape charge. The way that man came with all of the receipts, y'all need to learn. This needs to be the example of why we should not believe all women, because why is it fair to have a young man's life ruined because you was embarrassed? And if we really talk about it, she was the one that embarrassed herself. You thought you was finna be the girlfriend. You thought you was finna get the princess queen treatment, but you are out here treating yourself like a sex worker. Crazy.
Men love talking smack about makeup. Women are liars. Women wear lashes and lipstick. They're tricking us. Baby, stop. The first women culturally tied to makeup were sex workers, 304s, not wives, not good girls, not maidens picking berries in the fields. It was 304s. 304s in ancient Greece and Rome used rouge to redden their cheeks, their lips, even their nipples. They used powders to brighten and even out their complexions. Not for romance, not for self-esteem. They did it because men wanted women who looked aroused, women who looked ready. Makeup was never a female lie. It was a male request, a commercial obligation. And don't even get me started on Pony, the orangutan. Men wanted makeup on her too. Men built the demand. Men shaped the fantasy. Men paid for the very illusions and beauty standards they're now crying about. Makeup existed for one reason: male appetite. And it's your ancestors who wrote the manuals. We did nothing more than follow the assignment. But what y'all don't like is that we love it now too.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but I don't think we're discussing the level and the amount of makeup. Statistically speaking, men are going to prefer a light makeup. They're going to prefer a more natural look, right? Well, y'all could, a lot of times women will say, oh, well, y'all couldn't even see that I had makeup on. It was so natural. I had makeup on. That's the point. That's the point. Some of you guys are not subtle in the way that you're putting the makeup on. Man can clearly see, oh, she got this done. She got that done. That looks fake. Who's going to want that? Who's going to willingly say, oh, versus a real burger and a fake burger? Who's going to pick the fake one? They're going to pick the real one. It's real. I stay fuller longer. I get more satisfaction. It tastes better. It's better for my health. I'm going to pick the real burger every single time. Right? So if you're giving me a choice between makeup completely none versus overdone, over-exaggerated makeup, then you're probably going to lose that argument, right? But most men want subtle. They want a light makeup, statistically speaking. A lot of women, they overdo it. I can see your facial structure. I can see your lips. Okay, great. Your nose. Okay, great. But it looks like your eyebrows are drawn on. That doesn't even look like the natural pattern of the way your eyebrows are shaped. And then your eyes. That's not natural. That doesn't even look close to natural. And so men are saying at some point in time, you guys are pushing past what we like and you're doing it for yourselves. Like you're doing it for your friends. What you didn't point out is that women were also using makeup for status, to position themselves as, hey, look at me. So it wasn't just the men that wanted it, that were using it. Women were using it as well, right? To say, okay, I'm better than you, or I'm in higher society than you are. So they were doing that. Women do that kind of same thing today. I'm using my makeup to say, oh, look at me. Oh, her makeup game is on point. Then they'll add the clothes and whatever it is, the house, the car, all of that stuff, the job, the education, to say, I'm better. Look at me. Modern women are still doing that today. So we're not going to sit up here and blame men. Y'all, this is what y'all want to do. Y'all want men to take all of the accountability. Well, it wasn't our fault. We did this, and y'all make a point and y'all leave and y'all go away. But y'all don't tell the full story of what's happening. Y'all are getting out here overdoing it. Men say, okay, if you're in a relationship with a man and you come out with a reasonable amount of makeup for the occasion, especially, then a lot of times a man ain't gonna say nothing to you. You come dressed a certain way for the occasion, a lot of times a man ain't gonna say nothing to you. But a lot of times y'all be coming out there dressed and with makeup on, a man be like, hey man, don't you think that you're overdoing it? And that's when you call them insecure.
So I ran across a video. It basically is asking the question, or referencing that she's seen a lot of videos from women saying that they are happily married, they have wonderful partners, their partners are amazing, but they're cautioning women not to get married, and she's asking why that is. And I'll be honest with you, I had the same question. Why, if we're happily married and you have a great partner and all of these things, why are we telling women not to get married? So I had to jump down into the comments so I can fully understand. And I'll be honest, what I thought I was going to run into was a lot of male bashing, degrading men. My life is actually miserable, all those things. And that's not what I saw. I will say that what I did see, I actually understood. And I've said this before about pregnancy. I don't think I've ever talked about it as far as marriage goes. We are not prepared for what marriage is. We are spoon fed this fairy tale of let's have a marriage, a wedding, let's meet the guy, let's fall in love, let's have this wedding, let's live happily ever after. But we don't talk about what happily ever after encompasses. We don't talk about having to compromise, you having to compromise, but also him having to compromise, you having to set aside or place a hold on your dreams and aspirations or whatever it may be to make your family work. Those are not things that we talk about. And I'll say this, I don't think that we have to die a little, because I see a lot of that. Like, as women, we have to die a little. We have to shrink ourselves a little. I think if you find the right partner, you don't have to die a little. You don't have to shrink a little. You do have to compromise. You do have to be considerate. You do have to take into account someone else's feelings every single day. It cannot always be about you. And sometimes that means that you don't get what you want. And it may be that you don't ever get what you want because that simply doesn't work for your relationship or for your marriage. It also may be that you don't get what you want right now. that it has to take a pause. But I think we also have to look at it from the male's perspective as well. He's also not always getting what he wants. Everyone within the relationship is compromising, because I am not him and he is not me. So we're not always going to see eye to eye. We're not always going to agree. We're going to have to sit down and make tough decisions that, you know, financially right now, we can't afford this thing that you want. And it could be something like, I want to go back to school. Well, right now we can't afford for you to go back to school. Right now, we both have to work a regular job so that we can pay the bills in the house. Maybe later you can go back to school. Right now, we can't afford a new car because that's just not in the budget. Right now, from a mental standpoint, I can't give you everything you need. I need you to pour into me in this moment. And once we get that sorted out, now I can pour into you. It's a wax and a wane. It has to be fluid. And we're not taught that. We're not taught how to consider other people at all times. Maybe sometimes, but not at all times.
I want to go back to one thing that you said. You said that you didn't think or didn't believe that you had to die a little bit.
No.
I don't know if I really agree with that. I think both people have to die a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because you got to die to self. Sometimes when you get into relationships or anything really, your ego is in one place. And when you combine with another person, you gotta lose some of that ego in order to be able to compromise on some things.
I can agree with it.
So I do think that you're going to have to die a little bit. You have to die to self at least a little bit, because when you're only about self, you can tend to be selfish, and you can't be in a successful relationship if you're going to be selfish. You can't be a great parent if you're going to be selfish. So you're going to have to die a little bit.
I will agree that you have to die to self in that regard. I don't think that that's what they're talking about when they say you have to die a little. I think what they're speaking of
shrinking
is
their light. I understand that.
Shrinking their light, but also killing your dreams, killing a little bit of your personality, killing the things that you like.
But what if a part of your personality is to be selfish though? Which many people are.
Well, that you do have to die a little bit to that. You do. You can't be married and a parent and be you can't be successful at it. You can do it. Right? You can absolutely do it. You probably wouldn't be that great at it, though.
Because think about it like this. In a lot of the comments, when you read more into what they're saying, they're basically saying they don't want to have to consider anybody else. Mm-hmm. That is a selfish trait.
It is. Absolutely. You have to, in everything that you do too. Like, I don't want it to be misunderstood. This is not just about being in a partnership, in a relationship, or being a parent. In everything that you do, you should consider other people. If I'm walking through a door, I'm considering whether or not I'm gonna hold that door for the person walking behind me or walking out in front of me. If I'm standing in line, I'm considering my space between the person in front of me, the person behind me. Like, you're constantly being considerate of other people. It's just there are levels to it, right? So for the person in line, my considerateness is probably down here. Like, it's whatever. But to my partner or to my child, my level of considerateness is up to here, because everything that I do affects them in one way or another. I have to take them into consideration. Like, it's, even when you're single, like a lot of people are saying being single is 100 times better or whatever. When you think about that, most single people have jobs, they have cars, they go grocery shopping, they do all of these things. So you are having to be considerate. And the things that you do randomly, go to the grocery store, you don't encounter those same people, right? So that considerateness you can brush under the rug. But when you think about having like colleagues or partners or bosses or people that report to you, you have to be considerate to them all the time. Yes, you can take your hat off and stop being considerate when you get home. I guess that's a break or whatever. You don't have to think about anyone else once you're home. But the majority of your day is spent at work. So is it that you don't want to spend all day at work being considerate of other people and then go home and have to continue to be considerate of the people at home? Is that it? These are just my thoughts. I think that we are not fully equipped to be partners, to be lifelong partners to someone, because we don't have those conversations. It's a lot of sweeping it under the rug. And as children, you don't see the hard conversations that your parents or your grandparents had to have, but they happen, they exist. And I think as parents, but also as friends, sometimes we have to talk about having hard conversations, how to be considerate of other people, how to die to self a little bit, how not to shrink yourself though. Because again, there's a lot of women who talk about having to shrink into their husband's shadow, but I disagree with it.
See, the thing about that is, and this is just my opinion because I'm not in that type of relationship, I think a lot of the women that shrink themselves in these types of scenarios are shrinking themselves on their own accord. I don't think their husband is specifically telling them to dim their light or stop doing something that they want to do. I think they're doing it because they feel like this is what is needed for the relationship to function, or this would make my husband happy, or if I don't do this, then this will fall apart. I don't think anybody's making them do that. I mean, I get being in that situation and feeling like you need to do it, but that's where conversations come into.
And I'll say this. I've never had to shrink for my husband. That's not something that I encounter. I know for me, one of the things that I run across, I don't know how to sit still. I don't know how to be at rest. That is a hard thing for me to do. And for a long time, I struggled with it because it felt like I had to constantly be doing something. So if I'm off, that means it's time to grocery shop, meal prep, clean the house, wash the clothes, do the laundry, put them away, scrub the toilets, clean, like constantly something around the house. And I found myself getting annoyed because I'm tired. I never get to rest. Why aren't you doing something? Well, nobody told you to do it. Just go sit down. It's okay. And before y'all start, it wasn't that he wasn't helping. I didn't want his help because he didn't do it right. He didn't do it right. So no, I don't want you to cook. I don't want you to go grocery shopping. I don't. I'll do it myself. And I think as women, we can be, and not just as women, let me not even say as women, because he won't let me do things with my car. So as people, we can be controlling. Like we assign ourselves to these domains, to these roles within our relationship, within our house, and we hold on like this is my position and this is what I do and I don't want you to do any of it. But I'm also tired and I'm annoyed with you because you're not doing it. That's not him, that's me. And you got to own that a little bit. Once I own that and I realize it'll be all right, just go sit down somewhere, because if you don't, you're going to fall out and then what? It's still not going to get done. So I think we have to stop self-imposing things onto ourselves and have the conversations with our partners. Like, is this what you're looking for, or is this something that I'm placing on myself?
Well, marriage is going to pull on you. It's going to, like somebody in the comments said, it's going to expose who you are, who your true identity. If you're at work, I mean, the mask is going to slip a little bit, but there's still some things that you can hold for yourself. And honestly, in some ways, they legally cannot touch. You can get around a lot of things, right? Even being at work for a majority of the day. But when you get home, you can try to keep up the facade, but you're going to want to drop that mask at some point in time. And your partner's going to see it. It's a weird thing. Even when people pay you money, they'll look at you a certain way, but it's not the same way that your partner's going to look at you. Your partner, because they care about you, or in some situations they don't, they're looking at you with a fine-tooth comb. They're paying attention, and they don't get paid for it. They don't get paid for it. That's how you know, oh, I'm here to actually see what they're up to. Right? I'm not getting paid, but I want to see. And they're looking specifically at certain things, right? And things that you're not even aware of. It just pops up. And they're like, oh, I noticed that. And then something else will pop up. Oh, I noticed that. And then something else. Oh, I noticed a pattern here, here, and here. Right? And they'll bring that to you. So even at work, you can kind of hide that. But at home, your partner's going to bring that to you. You're not even going to know that. Sometimes you don't even know that weakness or that blind spot existed, as self-aware as you are. But your partner is going to be looking, and they're going to be seeing it, and they're going to know, and they're going to mention it to you. So marriage is kind of like, it's a different beast. Like I said, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of your ego, a huge chunk. If you're getting married, I don't know if there's any way that you can have an ego and maintain a marriage. Because you're going to have to apologize. You're going to have to say sorry. You're going to have to say, oh yeah, my bad, I was wrong about that. And there's no pretty way to start the conversation. There's no smooth or easy way to start the conversation sometimes. Sometimes you just have to say, oh, well, wanted to kind of talk about a little bit earlier on, or what happened yesterday. I just wanted to say I was wrong about that. You're going to be, it's going to be silence. Sometimes you're going to have a great conversation about it, but then the feelings of hurt still there, might be a little bit of resentment still there, and you just gotta work that out and try not to do it again. And what I mean by work out is over time, if you don't hold on to that or create a grudge, that stuff is gonna kind of fall by the wayside. Now, your partner might, joke about it or kind of rib you about it, but the sting, the pain of it, if y'all allow it to go away, over time it's gonna go away, right? So there's a lot of things that, you gotta consider and you gotta think of when you get married, which is why a lot of people would say, well, don't get married. If you can't do X, Y, and Z, they probably should say, if you can't do X, Y, and Z, or if you don't think that you're ready, then don't get married. I think I've talked to my parents about this, and I said one thing that I would love for people to start doing, particularly in the churches, instead of saying, well, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. If I want to get married, help me figure it out. Don't do all this counseling about, well, you got to watch out for this pitfall and that pitfall. That helps me to a large degree, but a lot of the time it's a negative. Well, how do I solve the problem? How do I fix the problem? Where can I find support when it doesn't seem like people are around to support me? Where can I go if I need a lifeline? It's all about setting yourself up for success in this endeavor, the same way you would if you're in business, if you're working for somebody. I'm bringing all the tools necessary to set myself up. I'm not going to go out there and not get a job because the job might fire me in 3 years. I'm going to do everything that I can to mitigate the risk. So help me when I get into a relationship, because I want a relationship. How do I mitigate the risk?